value from success, growth in discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as VRTrader.com. He was the #1 U.S. stock market timer in the January 2020 edition of Timer Digest. He's speaking to us from Arizona. Welcome back to the show, Mark.
Glad to be back, Jim. Thank you.
Mark, do we still have a special offer for our listeners?
We do, at VRTrader.com. That's V as in Victor, R as in Robert, Trader.com. When you go to our newsletter subscription pages and you get to the promo code part of the order form, you enter 2020 half off. That's 2020 HALFOFF, and you get 50% off of any subscription for any time frame that you signed up for. Again, that's 2020 half off at VRTrader.com.
We have a contested U.S. election. The last time we had a contested election, it was Bush versus Gore. Are the markets similar at this time, or is there a big difference?
You know, I can't remember what happened back in 2000 exactly with the markets. Those few days, I believe it was a little choppy, but I have to go back and look at the charts. You caught me with that question, but I assume, you know, the market doesn't like uncertainty. And though we had a big spike a couple of days ago on that Pfizer vaccine news, you know, outside of that, and there's some question how fast those vaccines are going to be delivered and whether there's going to be competing products and how good it really works. That's a whole other discussion. We do have uncertainty regarding the election, and the markets tend not to like that. Of course, you know where I stand. I'm bearish. So I was a little embarrassed when the market ran up 1,500 points on that vaccine news, but that could have been, you know, a sucker's rally, a blow-off top, a bull trap, whatever you want to call it. So we'll find out. So my feeling is we need to retrace and correct. And if it's what I suspect, and the challenge to the election continues, and possibly I feel could be successful for Trump, it's going to create a little bit of volatility here because a lot of managers, traders, sort of position themselves thinking for sure Biden is going to get in, which may not happen. And some of the sectors that, you know, seem to attract interest, like the marijuana stocks, for example, might not continue to rally, though there are some individual ones that are making money that probably will still do okay as well. So, yes, a little uncertainty out there with the markets. You also said it a little bit, I don't know how much. You've got the, in the U.S., you got the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, and there's a little historical note there. There's an event called the Turkey Shoot, where you tend to get a rally either the day before or the day after Thanksgiving. So for traders, that's something to watch. And of course, you got the Santa Claus rally theoretically coming up in December. So these are, you know, little points around this bumpiness that, you know, could make it interesting for traders. But, I'm not chasing the markets here at all. I think you got to really wait. And frankly, my work, I'm looking for a more substantial sell-off before I would get into the market, barring some of the individual trades that we might do day to day.
Also, with a vaccine, if you look at the one Pfizer's developed, you have to ship it on dry ice, minus 72 Celsius, which in Fahrenheit's about the same. But, and so it's very technically difficult to handle. Plus, by the time they make enough doses for everybody who's willing to take it, the disease might have run its natural course anyway.
Well, you know, we can get into a whole discussion about the virus and how severe it is and how much of what we're true or untrue. So I really don't know how to handle that. You know, that question. I think a lot of people are excited about it. The markets seem to be excited about it because I think that's going to change everything. I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen or not. We'll find out how well it works and how well it gets distributed, which could take time. Meanwhile, it seems like cases are increasing everywhere, and various municipalities are panicking, shutting down. I think New York just shut down a bunch of restaurants and bars and all kinds of things. So, those folks, I don't want to name names or name descriptions of what I think they are, but I think they're overreacting again. So anyway, we'll find out in time.
How devastating has this been to small business? And I think so often it's ignored that small business on both sides of the border generate over 70% of our jobs. If you devastate small business, you've really devastated the economy, haven't you?
Yeah, well, there are factions in the political world. I really don't like to make this a political, phone call interview because, I am biased to the conservative side of politics, but, there's a whole section out there that are just, what's the expression? And I'm probably going to alienate a lot of people with this comment that are listening to this, but it's one of the phrases that I got inspired after reading Michael Savage's book way back about 10, 12 years ago, which was entitled Liberalism is a Mental Disorder. And I think, unfortunately, these people suffer from a form of mental illness, and they're overreacting the wrong way. They're not evaluating the facts. They're not evaluating the consequences of shutting down a business and the economy versus the risks to individuals. I know in my own life, and I don't want to mention names, but people that I've been around have suffered, financially and mentally by these events. There's consequences. Taking away income, there's consequences to confining people, forcing people to wear masks, do all this stuff, and those consequences, unfortunately, are much greater than the death toll or that's resulting of this virus. I mean, in my opinion, it's just a very serious virus. You just handle it like you would any other sickness, and you try to, keep your distance and take your vitamins and exercise and whatever. And I think the total reaction internationally to it has been way, way overdone. I'm not saying it's not out there, but I'm 72 years old, and I've been healthy and handling myself just fine with the virus, and I do go out, and I think maybe either I take care of myself or I have antibodies or something that's preventing me from getting sick, and I'm not that worried about it. So I think teaching people about how to take care of themselves, proper nutrition, proper food and vitamins and so forth. Don't stand next to somebody who's sneezing in your face or whatever, probably helps. And avoiding crowds, particularly these idiots who are out there demonstrating or excited about Biden's win or demonstrating about something else, and crowding, thousands of people together isn't the smartest thing in the world, in my opinion. So, but bottom line is, going back to your question, absolutely, you don't want to close the economy down. You want to keep it open. You want to keep people focused and working. And, is this the movie On the Beach where radiation is coming to us from an atomic war, and you absolutely have no control, and you're going to get fried and die of, high exposure to radioactive materials, and this is the end of the world? Or is this just a virus that's going around that you could handle and deal with? I mean, it's being treated like it's On the Beach. World War III has ended. Everybody is destroyed, and the last wave of radiation is coming to you, and you're just counting the moments until you die. I mean, that seems to be the mentality of these liberals who are just, frankly, mentally ill.
We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines. Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mark Leibovit. Mark, what do you think is going to happen with the U.S. dollar?
I think the U.S. dollar is way oversold, and it's been trying to make some type of a bottom here. It just can't seem to get out of its way. And I'm giving you more of a trading technical comment than I'm giving you, an opinion about what it should do and shouldn't do. But all the money printing, the trillions of debt, what's going on with the the U.S. Treasury and with the Federal Reserve here in the U.S. I mean, you would think that the value of the dollar would be less and less over time, but this continues. I guess it stopped going down because they didn't pass another help package here, which might happen after January or February, particularly if the Democrats do take control. But the Senate is, if it's still controlled by the Republicans, might prevent that. So the dollar may stabilize here or rally if this future financing or bailout doesn't occur. So we just have to watch it here. I hate to be bearish on the dollar after it's made such a big drop. The gold bugs, of course, would like to see it go lower, but we've already seen gold come down, even with the dollar weak. So it's really interesting out there. I'm sort of neutral on it right here, but I have sort of a bullish bias because it's so depressed and oversold. So I'm waiting for another technical trigger, and we'll see if that happens. And at the moment, I'm on the sidelines with it. But again, the action of the dollar seems to be really influencing the trading in the gold and precious metals, as we know.
Interest rates, are they going to go up whether the Fed wants to hold them down or not?
I think they're going up. I'm bearish on bonds. I think we've already seen a low in rates. There's already been an upticking in rates. Who wants to lend money at zero or negative interest rates? And I think the bond market has already been telling this. I'm looking at the charts, and basically the bond ETFs that I track are telling me we're going to see higher rates. So maybe we'll get a little correction here or go the other way, because it's been trending up on the rates for the last 3 weeks. But if I had to bet out a year or so, we're going to see higher interest rates. So you got to be careful out there thinking it's going to go to zero or negative. I don't see how money is going to move with that type of interest rate environment where bond investors can't get any yield for what they're investing in. It doesn't make any sense. And the European model didn't work very well. And there's been a lot of talk about negative rates here in the U.S. But even with all that talk, and even though rates were depressed, I suppose, by the Fed and the banking institutions, we've still seen the bond market starting to indicate that rates are going up. So I'm watching at the charts, and the charts are telling me be careful if you think rates are going to stay down.
Also, this whole thing about negative interest rates, if they worked, Europe and Japan would be booming. And we also look at the wisdom of the ancient Chinese, Egyptians, Romans. They never had negative interest rates. If things worked well then, they'd be working well now, but they didn't have negative interest rates for a reason. And I look at what it would do to the banking industry, insurance, and pensions as well. Does that have to be a factor?
Sure is. I mean, the pensions have to return X percent every year to stay alive, and they've been, they've been in hot water for, quite some time here. Just been talking about bailouts and so forth to help the pensions. So, I really don't have an answer for you. The pensions are in trouble. They can't get yields if they want to only invest in bonds. I guess they're moving more into cannabis stocks. What do you think? Maybe that's what they should do. They're going up.
We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mark Leibovit. Mark, why do you think copper has been doing so well recently?
Well, it's a question of infrastructure. No matter who's politically in charge, everybody wants to spend money, on infrastructure, roads, bridges. Of course, back 4 years ago was building the wall across the southern border of the U.S. and concrete stocks, material stocks were doing well then, and they're doing well now, frankly. U.S. concrete made a new relative high here just the other day that was pulled off today and yesterday a little bit. So copper is related to all that. It's an infrastructure play. Money's going to be spent on infrastructure, and copper is a big part of that.
Mm-hmm. I've also seen forecasts where China says it's going to boom next year, and they're big copper consumers. And also in China, there have been plays in the past where they stockpiled copper, treating it almost like gold. Is that also a factor?
I wasn't aware of that, Jim. If they're stockpiling it, hoarding copper, there were stories for quite some time they were hoarding gold too. So, could be, the Chinese are very clever and they're all over the world. They're investing in natural resources everywhere, and, wouldn't surprise me at all if that's happening. But the chart of copper, looks higher, so I'd stay with it. Any
other sectors that are really catching your eye right now?
No, I'm sort of on a low profile here. I mean, I still like some of those cannabis names I mentioned before, and I like things having to do with hydroponics and growing things. I think there could be some food shortages. Some of the commodity markets are showing upticking, like soybeans and corn and so forth. So anything related to food and growing things sort of is attracting me here a little bit. The U.S. cannabis names still seem to be okay, though they have rallied quite a bit. Gold is probably okay once we get a confirmation here of a little trading bottom. Sometimes there's a cyclical low in mid-December. We've seen that some years in gold, and then it takes off into the following year. We could have already seen the low here yesterday. I'm watching the numbers here, but I thought maybe we could go a bit lower, but there should be a play here in gold and silver into the first quarter of next year. So you got to sort of time it. I guess you take a little position here, and if we go lower into mid or late December, you add to the position, and there should be a trade there. So that's sort of what I'm watching. Overall stock market, I'm avoiding until we get a clear buy signal, and my model says that shouldn't occur till the end of the year.
Mark, can you maybe again remind our listeners about your special offer?
Sure. It's at vrtrader.com, and the promo code is 2020 half off. 2020 half off, or 50% off of any of our newsletters. Thank you again for mentioning it.
Mark, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. Talk to you next week.
My guest has been Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as vrtrader.com. If you have any questions for Mark or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.